Hello, you are watching Shalom World News. I'm Rudy McLennan coming to you from Glasgow, Scotland. Here are the latest headlines from around the world. Pope Francis has made it clear that a visit to the Ukrainian capital Kyiv and a meeting with Russian Orthodox Patriarch Kirill in Jerusalem are not on the cards any longer. In a recent interview with the Argentine newspaper La Nación, the pontiff said that the plans have been cancelled, adding that all diplomatic attempts to achieve peace will proceed. The Holy Father also said that he will do everything possible to stop the war in the Eastern European country. He said, quote, "The Vatican never rests. I cannot tell you the details because they would cease to be all diplomatic efforts, but the attempts will never stop." The Vatican had been using all diplomatic channels to arrange a possible meeting between Pope Francis and his Russian counterpart, Patriarch Kirill, in Jerusalem, and iron out ways to end the conflict. France's Emmanuel Macron made history by becoming the first sitting president to be re-elected in 2 decades. Macron won by 58.55% to 41.45%, defeating his rival candidate Marine Le Pen. While addressing supporters near the Eiffel Tower in Paris, Macron said on Sunday, now that the poll is over, he will be a president for all. He said, quote, "An answer must be found to the anger and disagreements that led many of our compatriots to vote for the extreme right. It will be my responsibility and that of those around me." His victory has been hailed by some European leaders, with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen saying that together they will take both France and Europe forward. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky congratulated whom he calls his true friend, saying he looks forward to a strong and united Europe. Pope Francis on Sunday reiterated his call for a truce in war-torn Ukraine, where both Orthodox and Greek Catholic believers observed Easter, according to the Julian calendar that day. Marking the 60th day of the Russian invasion of the Eastern European nation, the Pope yet again appealed for peace. Addressing the faithful gathered at St. Peter's Square after Sunday's Regina Caeli, the Holy Father said, "I renew my appeal for an Easter truce, a minimal and tangible sign of a desire for peace. The attack must be stopped to respond to the suffering of the exhausted population. It must stop in obedience to the words of the risen Lord, who on Easter Day repeats to his disciples, 'Peace be with you.'" He further urged the faithful to pray for peace and for political leaders to listen to the people who seek peace. He also grieved the tragedies of the war that has claimed many lives and displaced millions. In the US, the Catholic bishops have welcomed the Biden administration's new initiative for displaced Ukrainians, but at the same time, they have pointed out certain areas of concern. It was on April the 21st that the administration announced the creation of Uniting for Ukraine, a streamlined process relying on humanitarian parole for displaced Ukrainians seeking to enter the United States. Allowing individuals to enter the US and remain for a limited period of time, the parole allows them to work, although it does not permit recipients to be eligible for the same benefits provided to refugees resettled through the US Refugee Admissions Program. It also does not help them get permanent legal status. The United States Conference of Catholic Bishops issued a statement expressing concern over the most vulnerable. The prelates expressed hope that support will be given to separated families, the elderly and those with urgent medical issues. They also requested a more robust use of the resettlement program for Ukrainians and other displaced people, giving them the chance to integrate into American society. On Sunday, April the 24th, a Catholic priest in France was stabbed by a man during the Holy Eucharistic celebration. The event occurred at the Church of Saint-Pierre de Rennes in Nice in southern France. Following the attack, Mayor Christian Estrosi stated that the perpetrator was a mentally disturbed Frenchman who had been planning the attack for a few days. Father Krzysztof Rudzinski was attacked 20 times with a knife before a nun named Sister Marie Claude was stabbed in the hand while attempting to wrestle the knife from the attacker. The priest and nun were taken to a hospital where their conditions remain stable. Meanwhile, the authorities apprehended the perpetrator and he is under custody. The culprit told police officers that his intention had been to murder President Emmanuel Macron, but that he had settled for the church attack instead. No terrorism motives are currently suspected. In the latest round of Roman Curia appointments, the Holy Father has named Cardinal Michael Czerny as the prefect of the dicastery for promoting integral human development. The Czechoslovakia-born Canadian prelate has been serving as its interim prefect, clocking yet another milestone in his efforts to empower women and place them in key positions in the Curia. Pope Francis also appointed Sister Alessandra Smerilli as the secretary of the same dicastery. The Salesian nun is serving as its current acting secretary. Separately, Father Fabio Baggio has been appointed by the Pontiff as Under-Secretary of the Dicastery for promoting integral human development, with the responsibility for migrants and refugees. After the announcement of their appointments on Saturday, the trio pledged to serve the Holy Father and the Church. On April the 24th, Divine Mercy Sunday, bishops of Cameroon led thousands of believers in reconsecrating the conflict-ridden African nation to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. The consecration was the culmination of an overnight pilgrimage to the Marian Shrine of Marienberg in Edea in the Littoral region. The Eucharistic celebration was led by Bishop Abraham Bualo Kome of Bafang Diocese, who is also the president of the National Episcopal Conference of Cameroon. In his homily, Archbishop of Bamenda Archdiocese Andrew Nkea Fuanya said that the Catholic faithful in Cameroon needed to become apostles of justice and peace if the country was to return to peaceful coexistence. He was referring to the ongoing conflict between government troops and separatists in the Anglophone region of the French-speaking country. During his Sunday Regina Caeli, Pope Francis also made a mention of the Cameroon pilgrimage, adding that Catholics are praying for the return of peace in the country. Since 2017, the conflict has killed more than 6,000 people and displaced 765,000. UN reports say that 2.2 million people in the Anglophone region require humanitarian assistance. In the US state of Texas, Marquez has become the 48th American city and the 43rd in the state to pass an enforceable ordinance that bans abortion within its limits. The Marquez ordinance outlawing abortion was unanimously passed in the council. The ordinance says it shall be unlawful for any person to procure or perform an abortion of any type and at any stage of pregnancy in the city of Marquez, Texas. It also clearly states that it is unlawful for any person to knowingly abet or aid abortion in the city. As the Philippine elections are fast approaching, a Catholic bishop has asked voters to be wary of candidates who try to buy votes. Bishop Crispin Marquez of Borongan Diocese in central Philippines said as much in a pastoral letter issued on Friday, April the 22nd. The prelate said in the letter, "Buying or selling votes to win an office is dishonest and defiles true democracy." The prelate went on to say that such politicians have become complicit in an appalling crime and horrible conduct that continues to afflict democracy and national dignity. The bishop then implored voters not to sell their children's and the country's destiny for money. Finally, he stated that Catholic Christians cannot be slaves to money politics, such as buying and selling votes and patronage politics. The bishop reminded citizens, if we are to be slaves, we must be slaves to God, not to money or corrupt politics. And those are your latest headlines. Do join us again tomorrow for more. You can also visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.